Hi everyone, welcome to the Scrapbooking Photographer. Thank you for joining me today. I am looking at the Hello Darling pack from Close to My Heart, which is the feature paper pack for June. But obviously we've known it's been coming for quite some time, as this is the third month of this catalogue. So the colours are definitely red, white and blue. So what I thought I would use these for is documenting the photos that my dad took when I was a child and went to Girls Brigade. Our colours were red, white and blue. However, I have up until now been procrastinating somewhat and find myself with very little of the paper pack left. I have found so many projects to do with this paper pack. So including other layout and cards, and then I had a little bit of a try at something that didn't quite work. So I've ended up with all of these bits in here. But anyway, this is the main paper I wanted to use for today's layout. So to add to what I have got left, I am also going to incorporate the digital art collection, which has some gorgeous flowers and stars and all sorts of things in it. But I really liked these outline of flowers with the white behind. Now I did try cutting them out with some vellum, which would look awesome against a plain background, but it didn't kind of work for me anyway against the busy background. So what I've done is incorporate this lighter blue colour and made some different things out of that with some white, and I also tried the blue. And I've also cut out the Girls Brigade on my Cricut using the sapphire and the candy apple. So I'll put those to one side, and I'm using the back piece of one of the Dream Maker pieces of paper. It is lighter than the periwinkle and it's just perfect for this set. So I'm going to use a sapphire as a back piece, and that's something I really like about scrapbooking this way, is that you can use any colour as a back page. It might be slightly thinner than a piece of white daisy, but by the time you've added extra colours on top of it, it's still sturdy enough once you put it in your page protector. So I'm going to use a piece of sapphire on the background, and then I'm going to trim this down, also trim this one down, so I end up with 1/4 of an inch all the way around and these bits in the middle. That's going to be the basic layout. I'm going to trim this piece and come back to do some shimmer brushing on here. So this piece is going to be on the top of the page, and I'm just going to splash the shimmer brush okay, so that is the sapphire shimmer brush, and it's really just tapping it on the side and letting the ink fall onto the paper. It needs a little bit of time to dry, but it does get a kind of a shine to it in different parts that you might be able to see there, and that's just going to add a little bit of a lift to the top part. Now I'll clean that mat. So I've just popped that to one side to dry and cleaned my mat, and I'm ready to start the next stage. But before I do, I'll just show you the photos that I'm working with. So they're probably early 70s. And as a Girls Brigade, our uniform was a blue pinafore, navy blue pinafore, with a white long sleeved shirt, red bow tie and a red cardigan, plus the beret. So this is me here. My dad was a great keen photographer, so he would have got this photo one day when we were on parade. And then we would have gone home and stood in our spot on the back terrace where he liked to take family photos. And this is me with my 2 older brothers. And then there's another one with my mum, which I'll probably use on a companion page. This one I prefer for this page because of the red cardigan And unfortunately there isn't one of my dad. It would be nice if there was one of all 5 of us, but of course he was taking the photo and he didn't use the timer that day. So I'll pop that one to one side. I also have these bits of memorabilia from my days in the Girls Brigade, so they will go on the companion page as well. So today, looking at these photos, I wondered about trimming the outside white border off, but I don't think I will. Now there's a lot of concrete here, so if I can somehow overlap those like that, that's what I will do. Now I'm going to mount this one in the blue, because remember we've got our lighter blue up the top there. Now that that's mounted, I will trim the zip strip off here. We're going to have that on that side, so we need to come down, I think we'll come down to 6 inches across there. So I have trimmed that to 6 inches wide and taken 1/2 inch off one end, which gives us 1/4 inch on each side. If I bring that up 1/4 inch, then that will go nicely there. I'll just check how our shimmer's going. Okay, I think that's dry enough to work with now. So I've also trimmed 1/2 inch off that side so that we can do the same at the top and bring that in at 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch there. I'll stick that down. So rather than turn this upside down and risk mucking it up, I'm going to just put the tape onto this base page, because we know exactly where it's going. Okay, and then the same with the bottom piece. Okay, so a little bit of a layout audition. So you can, it's starting to come together. So I could frame this in this colour, but I'm going to put a journaling box somewhere. So I'm thinking that could go there. Now these ones with the dark blue I thought would go nicely up here, but I'm also going to put a little bit of red underneath them, I think. Okay, now because we want a triangle of ephemera, I'll put that there. It doesn't actually leave me. I think I might pop the smaller one in there at the bottom of a journaling box. And that will leave me this one to use on the companion page. So I have cut a little piece of cardstock that I can journal on, and I'm going to put that there with these little flowers down the bottom. And I'm just going to put a little bit of red under that, and I'm going to put a little bit of red under that with a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to stick everything else down apart from those. So I'll just go off camera and come back when that's all stuck. So now that that's all stuck, there's a couple of things that I want to do. The main thing is to stamp out here First Papatoetoe, which was the name of our section. So I'm going to put that in first and then work out the size of a red banner coming in from the side that will hold those flowers. So to do the stamping, I'm going to use this Pen Pal alphabet, which is just the right size, and it's got the numbers and the letters in it. So if I measure along the top here, I've probably got as long as that stamp to stamp First Papatoetoe, as long as that block, but it doesn't all fit. I've just checked, so I'm going to have to do the first up the top and Papatoetoe underneath. So I'm going to turn my mat over and use Candy Apple, which is the red we've used in the paper. I'll just ink that corner there because I don't want it to get anywhere else. And I'll just bring this down so I don't get my head in the way. First, okay, and then I'll put papatoe underneath. Now, of course, with a word like papatoe, it's P-A twice and then T-O-E twice. So I probably could have used a smaller block. The trick is lining this up then. Okay, so that's all stamped. So now I know that I need a little piece of red in as far as that goes. So measuring specifically with my thumbnail, I'll just trim a piece that's that width. And I want these 3 flowers to go on it. So we'll come in about there. Right, to get this tag done, I'm going to just use the mat to mark the centre. Use the scissors and come up as far as I want, that wide. You go up the centre and then you can go in from the corner to the end of that cut, and it makes it nice and even then. And the flowers, 1, 2, 3, and that just highlights that and balances the red a little piece. And I'll do a similar one but smaller down here for the other 2. And I'll just pop this piece in here. I'll stick those on like that. Right, so I'll just do some journaling, which you'll see at the end, but I'm pretty happy with the way that's turned out. And it's used that one piece of Hello Darlin paper, but also the Hello Darlin digital collection as well. And then a little piece of Dream Maker in there too. So there's some close-ups coming, and there's also a blog about this as well, which I will link underneath if you want to have a read of this and also the other projects that I have completed so far with the Hello Darlin pack. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video today, it is free to subscribe to YouTube channels, and if you subscribe and tick the little bell, you will get the notifications of any new videos that come up. And I do try and do one each month that uses the paper of the month and the stamp of the month as well. So thank you for watching and have a great day. Happy crafting.